Over the last 3 weeks, we've given you 3 steps towards finding your purpose. The first step was examining your experiences. The second step was evaluating your values. And the third step was unwrapping your spiritual gifts. Today, we'll learn how to put it all together and write our purpose statement, which is the fourth and final step towards finding our purpose. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2 says this: "Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." This passage is encouraging us to fix our eyes on the prize. The author is saying to fix your focus on Jesus and to avoid the distractions. Why? Because your focus will determine your direction. Jesus was so focused on you that he endured the cross. His body was in agony. The pain before him was impending, and it was going to be excruciating. The crowds were mocking him, and he was even losing blood at an alarming rate. He could have easily snapped his fingers and vanished. He could have healed his own wounds. He could have sent lightning to destroy the mob that was calling for his death. There were a million reasons for Jesus to stop what was happening to him, but there was one reason that kept him going, and that was his love for me and you. And that's the kind of focus that we're striving to have today, because you know where to go when you know why you're going there. And that's why discovering your purpose is so powerful. Have you ever heard of Dan Rather? If you haven't, just Google him or ask your parents about him. But he is one of the most prolific journalists in American history. And he spent nearly 50 years as the lead anchor for CBS. But Dan was more than just a journalist. He served as the face of the nation's evening news for half a century. In an era before the internet, most American families started and ended their days with a news broadcast on television. This means that millions of Americans hung onto Dan's every last word as his voice was broadcast all over the world. He helped our nation process some difficult milestones like the Nixon resignation, the Challenger explosion, 9/11, and even the war in the Middle East. Dan Rather is a member of the Television Hall of Fame. He's won numerous awards and accolades. He's basically the Michael Jordan of news anchors. When asked about the secret of his success, he said he keeps the same simple statement on 3 separate slips of paper. He keeps one in his wallet, one in his pocket, one at his desk. And this is what the statement says: "Is what you're doing now helping the broadcast?" His secret was to keep his goal in the front of his mind. And this is a practical life lesson for us. What are you doing to keep yourself focused? It's so much easier to stay focused when you know where you're trying to go. And so we've analyzed our life experiences, we've evaluated our values, we've unwrapped our spiritual gifts. Now it's time to put it all together and create an actionable and practical purpose statement. Your purpose statement is made up of 3 parts: your experiences, which is how you operate; your values, which is why you do what you do; and your gifts, which are what you're good at. All of these pieces point towards the purpose that God has for you. Put those pieces together and write it on that Post-it note that Dan Rather was talking about. This is your purpose statement. And it's our goal at Empowerment to help people discover, develop, and deploy their God-given purpose in their lives. And it all starts with putting it in writing. Here are some powerful examples of purpose statements we've seen. God created me to encourage those who need encouragement. God created me to leverage creativity to help people connect with God. God created me to help people understand scripture better. God created me to travel to the ends of the earth to tell people about Jesus. God created me to help people find healing from mental and emotional hurt. At Empowerment, we say we exist to help you find your people, develop your potential, and discover your purpose. Now it's time for you to do the writing. Get a journal or get a piece of paper, then write a purpose statement built around your experiences, your values, and your spiritual gifts. Once you've written it, make it visible. Put it on a Post-it note. Pin it to the wall. Set it as your lock screen on your phone or as your screensaver on your computer. Write it out and then walk it out. Your purpose is where your experiences, your values, and your gifts collide. So this week, with those things in mind, I want you to finish this sentence: God has created me to blank. This week, fill in the blank. I pray you've been blessed by these last 4 weeks as we've taken time to find our purpose. I pray that examining your experiences, evaluating your values, and even unwrapping your spiritual gifts have brought you greater joy, comfort, and peace, knowing that you're doing what God has created you to do. Next week begins our small group Bible study, and we're starting a brand new series, One of a Kind, a journey of discovery. In this series, we're going to be looking at the 7 motivational gifts that we talked about last week in greater detail. You can join us in person if you're in the greater New Orleans area, or you can join online. We'll see you next week.